With this, I hand over to Gauravji and Pandit Prasadji.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sitaji. Panditji, namaskar and welcome. Let me briefly introduce you.
Namaskar, everyone.
This is a treat. This session, I always look forward to Panditji's wonderful lecture and demonstration. Panditji, of course, let me introduce you. He is a CHT. He did this course a couple of years ago. He has a tech career, but he's also a Pandit, multi-generational Pandit, and the father of one as well. And he is very talented, very popular, and of course, as you're seeing, he serves the Sanatan Vedic Dharma. He's been serving it flawlessly, seamlessly, and selflessly for the last 40 years. He speaks, he talks, he sings. He is a full package, as you'll get to hear him in today's session. He's a professional singer, and he goes on tours. He's been doing, since the pandemic started, he's been doing online kirtans. And Panditji has done more than 100 such sessions since the beginning of the pandemic. And so you'll hear from him today. I requested him to talk to us about the science and spirituality of kirtan. Not only is it a joy to hear and chant and participate in the kirtan, it's also something that's backed by science, and you are going to hear a lot more about that from Panditji. With that said, Panditji, do you want to present from my screen? I can give you remote control access, or would you like to?
Gauraji, if you guys can present, that'll be great. I am actually a little bit handicapped because I'm traveling.
Okay, sure.
I'm limited
I'm
on
giving you access, so you should be able to press next whenever you feel like it.
All right. If it doesn't, then you'll skip for me. Okay.
Yes. Sure.
Okay. Great. All right. Awesome.
All right.
Thank you very much, Gauraji. Namaskar, everyone, and Swagatam. Welcome this evening to this presentation. It is an absolute pleasure to be in your company this evening. Let me first of all commend and compliment all of you for taking a decisive decision in your lives to be part of this wonderful concept, this wonderful organization called Hindu Community Institute. As Gauraji mentioned many years ago, I think it was the second year, I was able to complete the HCI course, and now I've been asked to, from time to time, participate as as the need be. Let me first of all give my pranams to all of you. I'm not sure if Kailashji is on as well, but certainly highly respected individual and a great sevak, and certainly making waves in terms of our cultures, our scriptures, and enhancing this concept of Hinduism, and not just Hinduism, but universality in terms of this oneness that we call God. So my presentation today is, it's a very concise presentation. It's not going to be an hour, I promise you. And but it's very interactive. And as I would ask all of you, we'll go to the next slide. Let me see if I can change it. If not, then we'll have to ask Gauraji to do this. Just stand by. Yeah, Gauraji, I don't think I have controls, but if you want to jump to the next one, it's fine.
I want to welcome you, Neilji Kailash here.
There he is. Namaste, Kailash. How are you?
Have you come back and enlighten us and entertain us and all the things you do? So happy.
Panditji, can you try taking control again? Sorry.
Yep, try again. Yeah, for some reason it's not allowing me to. I'm sorry, and I'm limited on monitor space.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Okay, Sitaji, I'm going to transfer control to you. See if you can take control. All right.
As we work out the logistics, let us all sit upright for a few minutes, if you can, wherever you are. If you're on the floor, please cross your legs. If you're on a chair, just sit upright with your back straight. I'd like you to gently close your eyes. Think of any form of God or a very peaceful place that you have been to in your lives. And as you breathe in, obviously we practice yoga. We say so as we breathe in. As we exhale, we say hum. So hum, control that breath. We'll begin with a short pratna, and then we go right into our first kirtan. Om Hari Om Hari Om Sri Ganeshaya Namaha Shri Saraswatye Namaha Shri Guru Charana Kamalebhyo Namo Namaha Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Maintain that posture as we now go into Kirtan. The lyrics, the words of this Kirtan will appear on your screen here in a minute. Very simple. Join with me. Sing along. Hey Ram, Swami, तेरे चरणों में चारों धाम. हे Ram, हे Ram, हे Ram, हे Ram. तू ही बिगाड़े, तू ही सवारे, तू ही बिगाड़े, तू ही सवारे, इस जग के सारे काम. हे Ram, हे Ram, हे Ram, हे Ram. तू ही जगदाता विश्व विधाता, तू ही जगदाता विश्व विधाता, तू ही है सुबह तू ही शाम. हे Ram, हे Ram, हे Ram, हे Ram, हे Ram, हे Ram. प्रेम से बोलो राजा रामचंद्र की जय.
Jai.
My dear brothers and sisters, please bear with me. That, in a nutshell, was a basic, very simple kirtan that we can practice, we can sing in our leisure. What is kirtan? Kirtan is derived from a Sanskrit root meaning a calling, to call, to recite, to praise, or to glorify. Put simply, kirtan is the act of praising and glorifying some form of divinity. One of the 4 types of yogas expose the Hindu scripture of the Bhagavad Gita. Bhakti is the process of uniting with the divine through love and devotion. Thus, Kirtan's ultimate purpose is to facilitate the awakening and the nurturing of one's devotion for the divine. Congregational practice of Kirtan has become perhaps one of the most common forms of worship today. While such glorification can be expressed in a variety of ways, including through poetry, drama, dance, or any form of oral recitation, Kirtan, in its most well-known form, is the call and response singing of a mantra that usually focuses on Radha, Krishna, Sita, or Rama, most common. Though Hindu texts describe the spiritual practice as one that has existed eternally, kirtans were popularized in more recent history by Hinduism's medieval era bhakti movement, starting in about the 6th century with the Tamil poet saints of South India before spreading throughout the rest of the country. One of 4 types of yogas espoused in the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Bhakti, of course, as we mentioned before, is uniting that divine through devotion. Because music is particularly potent as a vehicle of conveying one's emotion, music is especially effective at evoking the feelings of love for God. Therefore, Kirtan is viewed as exceptionally powerful when practiced and singing through music and song. The congregational practice of Kirtan gained popularity in America in the 1960s with the spread of the Gaudiya Vaishnavism by the ISKCON, International Society of Krishna Consciousness, and its founder A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Since then, more and more Kirtan singers have risen in popularity over the decades, fueling an expansion of Kirtan that has extended throughout most of this world. Ultimately, however, the true power of Kirtan, it has nothing to do with how skilled a particular performer is. At its essence, the practice is all about bringing together people of all backgrounds and facilitating a shared spiritual experience in which all can earnestly make that cry. Cry for whom? Cry for God's love. For it's when we cooperate, work together in devotion, it's then our hearts are most open to the compassion of the divine. Next slide, please. Let us now look at the analytical composition of Kirtan. There are 5 major concepts or 5 major pieces that roll up into this to form what's called a Kirtan. Many of you are familiar with the Indian musical system called ragas. Raga in Indian music, it's a pattern of notes having characteristic intervals, rhythms, and embellishments used as a basis for improvisation. There are approximately 83 or so ragas based on my research. Ragas are very important because it sets the mood or the pace or the theme or the genre for the kirtan. Timing also plays a very effective part. Some of these kirtans are what we call they're very soothing, which they're sung very slowly, and others are very upbeat and very energetic, timing again. And certain ragas, appeals to different deities. Now, each raga may have it can be sung on a different scale, using a different pitch or tune. Ragas also have their own specific melodies. Ragas also have tals and different speeds as we covered. And most importantly now, the lyrics or the meaning. The meaning is what we put into each of these kirtans. Devotional songs or bhajans, kirtans should be sung with a heart full of love. Singing without love is just entertainment. When we sit before our murtis or altars, depending on our religious background, whatever form of God that you worship, when that love is taken out or extracted from the depths, the deepest chambers of our hearts and placed in music, in raga, with tal, in kirtan, glorifying Bhagwan, glorifying God, what are the results of this? The tears begin to flow from the eyes. The body begins to sway in unison with the tune and the tal, and we fall in love with the music. My dear brothers and sisters, bhajans are not merely associated with pitch, rhythm, tune, and beat. One gets real happiness, only when one is totally immersed in kirtan or bhajan. And happiness can be derived in 2 ways. One is through singing kirtan, and the other is through sankirtan, which is community singing in a group, call and answer as we call it. There may be an element of selfishness singing kirtan, believe it or not, and the singer may sing to earn appreciation, honor, reputation, and yes, in some cases, money. In such a case, the main consideration of the singer may be the pitch, rhythm, and tune, and the beat, but not feeling what we call the bhava, that energy, that love for God. On the other hand, community singing, it gives happiness to one and all. How? Singing for fulfillment is community singing. Samyak kirtanam iti sankirtanam, the scriptures tells us. In community singing, the focus is not only on the voice or the people who have come to participate. You should sing freely and wholeheartedly with your heart filled with the love for God and only God. And when you sing to please God, your song will automatically be pleasing to the ears. Next slide, please. The great renowned singer of India, Pandit Jasrajji, he lists the 6 primary ragas as follows. We take a quick look into the ragas now. Rag Bhairav. Bhairav is a morning raga and solemn peacefulness. It's its ideal mood. This raga is grave in mood and suggests seriousness, introversion, as well as a devotional attitude. Let me explain. This particular raga, or all the ragas, by the way, when they are composed by the authors, the ragas are composed and they will sound, the sweetest, or you will get the most bhava when it is sung or delivered at that time of day. So if we take the same rag Bhairav, and we sing it in the afternoon or the evening, it has less effect than it would have had if you had sung it in the morning because of the timing of the rag and the notes. We'll come to that in a little bit. The next, Rag Malkuns. Malkuns is sung during the small hours of the morning again, just after midnight, so early morning. And the effect of this raga again, soothing and intoxicating. This raga is believed to have been created by the goddess Parvati, the wife of Lord Shiva, to calm Bhagwan Shiva. So when Lord Shiva was outraged and was not calming down after a Tandav dance, in the rage of Sati's sacrifice, she composed this rag for his calmness. Rag Deepak. Deepak is an evening raga. It is said this raga had the power of creating fire. Tansin had performed this successfully by singing Rag Deepak in the court of the Emperor Akbar. Rag Shri. Shri again is an evening raga, sung during the sunset. This raga is full of grace and majesty, and the main mood it creates is one of devotion and dedication. Rag Megha. Megha Malhar is a seasonal rag and sung as an invitation to the rains. Yes, ragas have this power as well. And finally, Rag Hindul. Hindul is sung during the first part of the day. It is an ancient raga associated with the spring season. One of my favorite ragas, Rag Yaman. Rag Yaman is an evening raga. A lot of the Bollywood songs are composed in this raga. Very soothing, but it is most sweetest when it's done in the evening time. Next slide, please. Sound healing therapy uses aspects of music to improve physical and emotional health and well-being. The person being treated partakes in the experience with a trained practitioner. Now, music therapy may include listening to music, singing along to music, the Kirtan we speak about, moving to the beat of the music, meditating with that music, or even playing an instrument. You see, healing sound is believed to date back to even ancient Greece, when music was used in an attempt to cure mental disorders. And throughout history, music has been used to boost morale in military troops, to help people to work faster and more productively, and even ward off evil spirits by even chanting. More recently, research has linked music to a number of health benefits, from boosting immune function and lowering stress levels to improve the health of premature babies. Sound has long been to have a deep therapeutic and healing qualities. The listener, for example, there are many frequencies, varying frequencies, and vibrations associated with music and sound. When we can find ourselves drawn towards some sound and repulsed by others, that is that uniqueness. For example, a basuri player, someone who blows that basuri, playing along perhaps in a raga of Bhagwan Shri Krishna, is very soothing to the ear. Then, for one listener, the sounds of the band death metal, that type of music, rock music, hardcore rock music, while it may be soothing to some, it may anger others. And on this topic, by the way, if we speak of music frequencies now, just to take you on a little tangent here, it is said that women, the females, they have a less tolerance for a high-pitched sound than we men do. Men, on the other hand, can listen to low bassy sounds. Animals also can hear even a higher frequency than humans can. This is how animals are trained, by blowing a whistle, if you've noticed, at a very high frequency that we cannot hear with with our ears. But animals can certainly hear. Brothers and sisters, as human beings, we are touched by different things, different ways. And with music, it may be very well the frequency that can bring the altered states. It is not uncommon hearing solfeggio frequencies when we are listening to meditation and chakra healing. Chakra healing. Let us speak a little bit about this now in terms of how Kirtan relates to chakra healing. The next slide, please. If we are looking at the correct slide, you will see all of the chakras, the major chakras that are listed here with the different sound frequencies next to them. The reference here, and the reason for bringing this information to you, is depending on the type of kirtan that we are chanting. You can see here, if we are to get into that mood and to raise or to lift the frequency from the range of 396 hertz down to the root chakra, the Muladhara chakra, all the way up to 963 hertz on the crown chakra, the Sahasrara chakra. That total range of frequencies can be excited by just music, sound. And this is how Kirtan plays into opening of the chakras. That Kundalini chakra, that Kundalini Shakti, as the energy moves from the Muladhara chakra all the way up to the Sahasrara chakra. Solfeggio frequencies were chanted by the Gregorian monks during their meditation, as the monks believed the frequencies, when sung in harmony, could bring about spiritual awakening. And these sacred solfeggio frequencies make up a 6-tone scale, and each frequency is said to balance the whole body, physically, spiritually, and emotionally, thus leading themselves to perfectly healing and balancing the yogic chakra system. They are known to be 6 original solfeggio frequencies, 396 hertz. This is a low and smooth frequency that helps to cleanse feeling of guilt, fear, and trauma. It is also associated, like I said, with the Muladhara, the root chakra. At 417 hertz, it helps to bring on positive change and creativity. This frequency is known to help relieve stress and tension, helping to loosen tight muscles and joints, which increases physical mobility. 417 hertz is also associated with the Swadhisthana chakra, the sacral chakra. At 528 hertz, this frequency brings about transformation and miracles in a person's life. It is particularly good for anxiety, pain relief, weight loss, and to help rewire neutral pathways into the brain. It is also associated with the Manipura chakra, or the solar plexus. At 639 hertz, the frequency of love and healing. It is a deep and profound and connected with intimacy and vulnerability. It serves as a foundation for healthy relationships and interconnectivity. This chakra is known as the Anahata chakra, or the heart. At 741 hertz, this deals with the empowerment and speaking tones of truth. 741 hertz is helpful for generating ideas, clear speaking, creative thinking, and increasing self-confidence. It's called the Vishuddhi chakra, the throat, the main beneficiary of the 741 hertz. At 852 hertz, the frequency of reconnection with the spiritual and higher order of thinking. It cuts through illusions, helping one to see themselves with clarity in their environment. This frequency connects us with deep dreams, astral projections, as well as connecting us with authenticity, the Ajna chakra, or the third eye. Having said that all great souls engage in this devotion, Bhagwan Shri Krishna now explains how they do bhakti. Devotees, let us turn to the slide with the Bhagavad Gita shloka, please. I'm sorry I don't have a harmonium with me as I'm traveling, so please bear with me. Prem se bolo Bhakti Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 14. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatancha chadridra vrataha namasyantas mam bhaktaya nitya yukta upasate. Prem se bolo Bhakti Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. Bhagavan Shri Krishna tells us in Bhagavad Gita in this verse, always singing my divine glories, striving with great determination, and humbly bowing down before me, they constantly worship me in loving devotion. My dear friends, Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, a devotee becomes attached to Kirtan as a means of practicing their devotion and enhancing it. The chanting of the glories of the Lord is called Kirtan, which is defined as Nam Leela Gunanidam Uchcher Bhashatu Kirtanam. Singing glories of the names, the forms, qualities, pastimes, the abodes, and the associates of God is called Kirtan. Kirtan is one of the most powerful means of practicing devotion, make no mistake. It involves threefold devotion of Shravana, hearing, Kirtana, chanting, and Smarana, remembering or contemplation. And the goal is to fix the mind upon God, but it becomes easier when done alongside with hearing and chanting. As stated in chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita, the mind is as restless as the wind and naturally wanders from thought to thought. Hearing and chanting engage the knowledge senses in the divine realm, which helps repeatedly bring back the mind from its wanderings. Kirtans has many other benefits as well. Often, when people practice devotion through japa, chanting of mantras or name of God on a rosary bead, or plain meditation, they find themselves sometimes overwhelmed by sleep. However, Kirtan is such an engaging process that it usually drives sleep away. Also, chanting blocks out distracting sounds from the environment. Kirtan can be practiced in groups, mass participation. In addition, the mind desires variety, which it gets through the medium of Kirtan in the form and the names of virtues and pastimes and the abodes of God. And since Kirtan involves loud chanting, the divine vibrations of the names of God, makes the entire environment auspicious, holy, very positive, and also very energetic. Chanting Kirtan is a devotional practice that helps to uplift the mind, open the heart, and bring us inner peace. It is the fastest and easiest, perhaps the most joyful way to achieve peace of mind. Try it. The mantras are mystical, universal sounds that resonate with our chakras, remove negative energies and tendencies. So it is important that we chant so that we can benefit from this powerful healing energy. It is not about our ego or self, but it's about chanting the name and the glories of God. We need to chant to express our devotion to something higher than ourselves, to open our heart. We need to open our heart daily to the Supreme so that we can live in peace and compassion with all. These kirtans are very old chants composed of mantras which have been given to us by the sages and saints. They are in the Sanskrit language, which is the language of the gods, a universal language with pure vibrations corresponding to the vibrations of our chakras, or vital, subtle energy centers. Most singers, they use the method of call and response, as we outlined earlier, where the leader of the kirtan chants first and the rest of the group follows out loud. The musical instruments generally use, of course, the harmonium, the tablas, the tambourine, majiras, and many other percussion instruments. To learn to chant, you only need to close your eyes and practice the following sounds without worrying about how you sound. Brothers and sisters, Kirtan began gaining popularity, as I said, in the West in the late 90s, when artists such as Krishna Dasji, Jai Uttal Wah, and Dave Stringer, Americans who had discovered yoga and Indian chanting, they began bringing Kirtan to the US in the yogic studios. They sang mantras chanted in many names of God and formed in small groups, and just as Hindu temples and musicians have done for centuries. In the traditional call and response format. And these American Kirtan wallahs, so to speak, taught their fans about the musical branch of Bhakti Yoga through their direct experience. Over time, the crowds grew and the music certainly evolved and the musicians multiplied forthwith. Focus as we close. Kirtan or devotional singing is where yoga and spirituality come together. Krishna Das once said, during satsang, in company of the truth, people gather together to remember, to turn within, to find their own inner path to the one supreme. When we gather together to sing like this, we are helping each other to find our own paths. Start chanting today. Feel more connected with yourself and with each other. Let us now look, as we close, how to build a simple kirtan. As I mentioned, I do not have a harmonium with me, but I'm going to improvise and let's see if this works. I should. Firstly, I will start with a mantra. The mantra we're going to use is the Panchakshariya mantra, the 5-syllable mantra, Om Namaha Shivaya. Very simple. And let us build this kirtan now. I'll show you how easy it is. And you please follow me. Very simple. We'll start with the tal and we'll start with the raga. Raga is very simple. We'll use just one single scale to start. Hopefully you can hear my synthesized tabla and percussions in the background. Very simple. We sit upright once again and just follow along with me. Very simple. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Try it. Come on. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Namah Shivaya. Om 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 Namah Shivaya. प्रेम से बोलो महापति महादेव की जय. Radhe Radhe. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing me this opportunity to share with you. You see how beautiful you all sung, singing Kirtan? I heard all of you. Great job indeed. I thank you very much. Gauruji, I'll hand it back to you.
Thank you very much, Panditji. We have some questions on the chat. Sure. I'm going to ask Anjana ji to please ask your question.
Namaste, Panditji.
Namaste.
Question regarding, the ragas. Are these ragas also connected to the frequency, the soul feature frequency scale? So
absolutely. Absolutely.
Frequency, if you can.
Yeah, absolutely. So ragas will have, each raga has a set of notes that are associated with it. And every single, if you think of it, every single song, every single composition, whether it is Hindi, whatever language, even English songs, they are all based on ragas. They all have a series of notes that if you follow, you are within tune. Now, ragas will vary in pitch, in frequency, and of course, based on the notes, some ragas will stick to the low octaves, some go in the medium octaves, some go in the high octaves. And that will depend on what frequency they will hit and what chakras are being affected by those frequencies. We didn't go into too much detail with raga specific, but I just wanted to give you an outline of how it affects. But yes, ragas can definitely heal chakras.
No, so I wanted to know like which frequency is related to which chakra, so that what time of the day which is suitable to do, or so that's why I have a little bit deeper understanding of frequency connected to.
Great question. Now, I do not have that information, but I'll be glad you're going to put me back to do some research now. So I will get that and I will share it with you all afterwards. Certainly. That's a great question. Yes. Any other questions? I'm limited for screen space. I'm working off a very small laptop, so I apologize.
Yes, I will ask another question regarding sometimes, we do get tears when we are, devoted to that song when doing Kirtan, and there's like, the tears comes out on its own. So what does that mean? Like when you are, is it like a heart chakra clearing or opening? What does it mean?
First of all, if the tears are flowing when you listen or you sing Kirtan, I salute you. That means you're making that connection with your form of God, that deity, that form of that you're worshiping. Yes, the heart chakra, the anahata chakra, that is what your heart is opening. With that lotus in your heart is opening for God to come and take that seat. And you are creating that positive, that pure space for Bhagwan to sit on that lotus. And hence, the minute he arrives there, the emotions flow, the tears flow, the pause, you feel this, your body begins to sway, you begin to perspire, all these reactions, it happens all the time. Very, very wonderful feeling indeed. So I tell people, when you cry, when you sing, do not feel bad, don't feel ashamed. That's a beautiful thing. That is Bhagwan saying, I accept your devotion, you're humble. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Rita ji.
Namaste, Pandit ji.
Namaste.
That was excellent.
Thank you.
There are some chanting. When you listen, you cannot sit. You want to get up and you want to dance along with the chanting.
Yes.
So is there any kind of like raga or any kind of the way you said frequency or anything goes along with that kind of kirtan?
Yes. So great question. So it's not really the frequency. So you can from any of the frequencies, so to speak. So any of the chakras, any of the ragas relating to chakras. What creates that we call it Shakti, the energy to get up and dance, is more or less from the tal, or more or less from the beat, the drums, the rhythm is what creates. And then not only that too, depending on the mood of the singer. If the singer is very energetic, we're going to create that Shakti to get up and dance. And so, certain kirtans, I'll tell you, especially for Hanumanji, or when we do Garba for Mataji's puja, those are energized. You have no choice but to get up and dance. But yes, and again, I didn't go into too much detail with in terms of the frequencies of the ragas, but they are connected.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, definitely.
Panditji, I have a question.
Sure.
So you talk about Kirtan as well as Sankirtan. Are there advantages of, what should be preferred?
Yes.
Chanting by yourself or chanting together in a community congregational setting?
Absolutely. So Gauruji, during the pandemic, we had very limited Sankirtan. Hence, we did all these online satsangs and so forth. Yeah. But I'll tell you something. As a Pandit, I had all day of programs today. One of your students actually on here, Radhaji, was in one of my sessions. I'm in Toronto actually, by the way, right now traveling. As we congregate in numbers and we talk about the Sankirtan and call and answer, exactly like you're showing here, that environment when all hundreds of voices come together, hundreds of hands are clapping, the rhythm is going, music is playing, the energy, the uplifting energy, the positivity, the vibrations, it resonates in the building. If you're in a mandir, if you're in a hall, it just resonates, and it's a fantastic form of worship. Now, your question to differentiate one or the other, I prefer both. Sometimes I will sit at home with my harmonium and my music box, and I will get enjoyment. But when you are in that space of Sankirtan with others, the energy level, when you combine energy, it just flows. It's immaculate. Yeah.
Thank you for that. I remember reading some research, I'll look it up, where choirs singing together in a community setting, it releases endorphins. It's really good for you because essentially, what are we experiencing? We're experiencing a tightness of the heart, a being locked into our own individual personalities, and singing together releases that tightness. It allows us to engage as one singular entity, and not just as 200 people in one room.
Definitely.
And that feeling, that experience of a greater self is truly a sense of euphoria that comes out of it. So I always look forward to. In fact, whenever I meet people who tell me they're stressed out or they're not able to sleep, I always tell them to go to a Sankirtan, and they always look at me strange, saying this is a strange guy giving weird advice.
It's an amazing calming effect, Gauraji, as you know. And being part of it, you have the combination. You see people crying, you see people dancing there, everyone's swaying, everyone is like into the mood. It's just a beautiful feeling. What an experience.
Yeah. One of the speakers who talked about this topic a couple of years ago, I remember, they said that in the ISKCON system, right, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that Kirtan is Cheta Darpana Marjanam, the polishing of the mirror of the heart. We see the world reflected through the heart, the mirror of the heart. And if the mirror is clouded or occluded or broken, then that's how we perceive the world. But a shiny mirror, we get to see everything clear, bright and luminous.
Absolutely.
And,
absolutely. Well said.
Panditji, you're running a Mahagyan Yajna. Could you talk more about that?
Just concluded this morning, actually. That's what Radhaji is typing in here. Yes, three session Mahagyan Yajna. We finished this morning here in Brampton, Ontario, Canada. So I'm heading back home tomorrow.
What could you talk more about it?
Sure. So Mahagyan Yajna. So on Friday night, we started Friday night. So we focused 2 hours, each were 2-hour sessions. Friday night, the main focus was on Lord Shiva and the Devis, Durga Mata, of course. Saturday night, last night, our focus was on Hanumanji and Prabhu Shri Ram. We read from the Ramcharitamanas. Katha was from Ramayana. And this morning, we went back to Ramayana this morning. My Katha was on Jatayu. And if you remember the story of Jatayu, Jatayu was perhaps one of the, other than Hanumanji in Ramayana, perhaps one of the most selfless characters. And my message this morning was on selflessness, not selfishness. And we're dealing now with a new strain of this virus, Omicron, what do we call it? It seems as though we are heading back into another pre-corona stage, in my opinion, because they're popping up all over. And God forbid if we get there again, we need to get out of this mode of selfishness and be selfless. And my message this morning was, in this time, in this season of giving, in this evening of thanks, in the season of Christmas, Christ's message was one of selflessness. And when I said to my audience this morning, when we go to Amazon.com to order Christmas gifts for friends and relatives, think of someone who is in need, a family who is in need, who will appreciate a box of chocolates, a box of candies, maybe a couple items from the grocery, canned food, and give, be selfless. That was the message which we left with this morning.
Beautiful message. Thank you. I wanted to ask you a different question, but related to Kirtan and Sankirtan. You grew up in the Caribbean. You're a multi-generation sort of Hindu family that's been out of India for so many generations, and yet the tradition is strong. And your son is also training to be a Pandit. How has the practice of Kirtan and Sankirtan helped in progressing the tradition so many generations out with so much purity?
Great question. So born in Trinidad, I left Trinidad at the age of 16, came here to Canada to pursue my studies, and then moved to the United States, where I've been living for the past 32 years. My father is a Pandit. He was, both parents were retired educators. He was a high school teacher. And myself, I am 4th generation Indian. So my great grandparents came from India and migrated to the Caribbean. My mother tongue is English. It's not Hindi. I wish it was Hindi, but I'm getting there. But we grew up in a very tight-knit community, surrounded by primarily Hindus in my area. Trinidad, those of you who are familiar with the geography of Trinidad, we have perhaps a branch of every single nationality living on that island. 1.5 million people, about 50% Hindus. We have a plethora of mandirs, and we celebrate every single religious holiday. I had the opportunity of attending a Roman Catholic school where I went to church with my Catholic brothers. I had the opportunity for 5 years to attend an Islamic school as well, high school. High school. And there I spent 5 years also learning, the scriptures as well. But coming to the United States and migrating with a family with a very strong background in Hinduism, at the age of 5, I started playing the harmonium, not from any guru, but it was just my mother had a piano and it just sat there collecting dust, and I used to climb up on the stool with one finger and started playing. The first song I played on the piano, Ik Pyar Ka Nagma Hai. And that was my catalyst now. When the guys in the temple heard that I can play with one finger, they said, come, we have a harmonium, come to the temple. So at 5 years old, I started at the temple playing bhajans and started with Kirtan. And then, it just evolved from there. And I'm so happy and blessed to be in the company of, great souls like you all. And certainly given an opportunity to travel and to spread this Sanatan Dharma all across the world. So for me, it is educating the young children, and especially here in the Western world. We have great Pandits. We have very, very learned Pandits in all across North America. And what the challenge I have found is that very few, and I respect all of them, very few are able to take our very rich scriptures and break it down into a level that can be understood by our youth who are born here in the Western world, and perhaps Hindi or Sanskrit was not their first language. And this is something that I think I have taken and running with it. So it's catching. It is a lot of young people are caught on to this and are really understanding the basics, the grassroots, and they want to pursue it further. By all means, we can do this. So I think it's a blessing, and certainly HCI has certainly helped with this as well to broaden this realm and to spread our beautiful, I call it dharma, all across this world.
Pandit, do you have any syllabus or any curriculum that the way you make your things simple for the younger kids?
So it's all homegrown, but I'd be more than happy to share it with you. I can actually share some of my kathas. They're all in PowerPoint.
Please.
And I can share them with you. And just message me. My Gauraji can put my email address up, and I can just message me, tell me what you need, and I've covered most of the scriptures in terms of the messaging. My specialty happens to be Ramayana, Devi Bhagavatam, Shiv Puran, and some Bhagavad Gita as well. I'm waiting on Gauraji to start teaching me some Bhagavad Gita.
Oh, this is wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, please give me your email address and I'll contact you.
Yeah, it's simple. It's om at panditneil, PANDITNEIL.com.
Pandit NEIL, Om PANDITNEIL.com.
It's in the chat. It's in the chat window.
Oh, just .com, nothing else?
.com, yes, panditneil.com. You can also, if you'd like to look or to listen to some of my lectures, you can go to, I have quite a large following on YouTube channel, Pandit Neil Dev Persad, and also on Facebook as well.
Okay, thank you so much.
Sure, I'll be happy to, whatever materials I have, I'll be more than happy to share it with you.
I'm very impressed, yes.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you.
Ratnadi, your hand is up as well. Have you asked your question?
Not yet.
Sure,
Can I go?
Please go ahead, yes.
Yeah. Namaste, Panditji. Very
Namaste.
Nice discourse. We really enjoyed it. I just want to narrate a small thing here. I come from South India, especially from Bangalore, and then we visit a temple in northern Karnataka. It is Lord Dattatreya temple. It is in a small village called Gangapur. There, during the Aarti time, in the evening, during Aarti time, they play the dhol, and then they also play some other instruments. I don't know exactly the name of the instruments. So they play that in very loud noise, or loud sound, I should say. Then we see that the whole village comes to the temple during Aarti time. And there are few ladies, probably men also, but ladies are prominent. You can see them like bubbling with so much energy during the Aarti time. And some ladies, I have also seen them like climb up the pole because they are filled with that energy. And you can see them like having that, doing things that you cannot imagine a housewife doing it. That kind of energy we see. Is that because all their chakras are open during that time?
Yes, yes, that's a great point, and I totally respect all forms of worship. In I've seen this with my own eyes. I was curious, and I attended one of these temples here in the U.S., and I've witnessed this with my own eyes. I was totally impressed. First, I was scared. It was a little bit.
Yes, it does look scary. Yes.
Yeah, and like yourself, I had questions, but you know what? It's their form of worship, and they practice this from a very young age. In that the chakras open, the kundalini is open, and the minute that drum is played in a certain way, I think one of the drums that they use is called a tapu drum. I could be wrong, and it is played in such a rhythm that it agitates, or it begins to open up the chakras, but agitates them to work in such a way that the energy begins to flow, and it flows up, and then they start moving. They start swaying, and then it becomes like a trance in a dance.
Yes.
High energy. I totally respect them.
Yeah, and they don't remember anything once the aarti is done.
Yes. I'll share an experience with you. I know we're almost out of time. I was invited to one of these temples. This was in Orlando, Florida, and there was a big fire. So they dug a fire pit, which was about 10 feet in the lawn at the temple, and they filled it with coals, red hot coals. They filled it, and the pujari, or the pandit, the priest, he came to me and says, "You are going to walk on fire today." And I was like, "Okay, that's new." And unfortunately, I could not, because the fire it got so big. The fire department came and they put it out, so we were not allowed to do it. But this is the type of practice that they do, and I've seen it on video, where they get into this trance with the drums, and they're able to walk, like you said, on fire without remembering anything or feeling any pain, which is incredible.
Yes, and they don't even have wounds. Like they don't fall.
Correct.
They're completely, they're on the pole, and you don't see them slide down or fall, and they're happy there.
Yes, mainly in South India, I think.
Yes.
Okay. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Great. No, thank you.
Panditji, I really appreciate that you've taken time out on a busy weekend, and it's always a treat to have you back at these sessions.
Thank you,
Thank you. Yeah, and
always
for
a
everybody
pleasure.
else, I highly recommend that you subscribe to Panditji's YouTube channel. I thoroughly enjoy your Kirtans, Panditji, online, and I love to chant along, and all those words of wisdom are wonderful. So thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you. God's blessings to each and every one of you, and do enjoy the rest of your course. And if I can help you in any way, please reach out. I'd love to.
Sure.
Have a safe and stay safe, everyone. Namaste.
Thank you. Sitaji, could we review the homework again, and then you could please bring up the closing prayers? Sitaji, are you bringing up the homework?
You are mute, Sitaji.
You're on mute. I can bring up the homework. It's not a problem. Just give me 1 second. All right. So the homework assignment is pick any one of these 2 questions and write a brief essay, 1 page really, on, as a CHT, as you go through the course and you get to the end of it, you're going to be meeting people and you'll be talking to them. These are 2 such conversations. In what circumstances would you as a CHT recommend that someone join and participate in a Kirtan chanting? So Panditji talked about it at length. So think about what you heard and write an answer that you feel comfortable with. Or the second question is, please describe Hindu wedding rituals to someone who's not attended any Hindu weddings themselves. And so, when people want to know what happens in a Hindu wedding, are you able to confidently describe what the process is and how it's done? So think about those 2 questions, pick the one that you like the most, and write those answers out. and we look forward to your answers. Now I'll lead us into the closing prayers, and then we'll wrap up today's session. Please sit comfortably, sitting in any comfortable posture. Sitting with the back straight. If you're sitting on a chair, full foot contact on the floor below. If you're sitting upright with crossed legs, any posture is all right. The back is straight but not stiff. The back, neck, and head are in a straight line. Now close your eyes. Relax the expression on the face. Let the tongue sit at the bottom of the mouth. Relax your shoulders. Relax your belly. As you breathe in, let the belly expand. As you breathe out, simply let go. We're going to chant Om 3 times and then the closing prayer, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina. Bring your palms together in Namaskar Mudra, pressing the palms together gently, touching the fingers together gently, gently touching the back of the thumbs into the chest. Bring your attention to the hollow space between the palms and pay attention to any vibration, any sensation. Stay right here in the palms. We're going to chant Om first. Exhale completely. Take a deep breath. Inhale. Om. Inhale. Inhale. Inhale and chant. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. Sarve santu niramaya. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Take your arms behind you, grab your right wrist with your left hand, breathing in, stretch. Breathing out, bend forward in a deep sense of surrender. Come back up, breathing in, release your hands, rub your palms together to generate some heat, and gently cup your eyeballs to transfer that heat. Massaging the face and the neck gently, and now blinking, open your eyes and pull your palms back like an open book. May all be happy. May all be free from illness. May all see that which is auspicious. May no one suffer. Om, peace, peace, peace. Thank you very much for attending today's session, and I look forward to seeing you another weekend. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday and have a great rest of your week as well. Sitaji, we are ending on time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Gauravji. It's been excellent, as always. Thank you so much. I just want to tell you that everything is there in the Moodle as well, the slides and everything, and also the homework. So please check that out. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
Geetaji.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Namaste.